Hey guys, I wanted to show you the first real project on the CNC and what I would consider to be
the first chips on the machine.
Now, it's not the first part I made on the mill, it's actually the third or the fourth. But the first one was made manually by using the arrow keys to feed and mill the part and using MDI to position the tool to the drilling points. This made the first part. The second parts actually was a pair of vice alignment keys for my vice. This was the first time I ran G-code on the machine. I don't really consider these the first chips because I spend more time filing the parts to shape and using the machine more like a manual mill. But anyway, let's get to the project. Now, I used to run Mazak machines a lot, especially a model VTC 800SR with a Matrix 2 controller. And it had some really nice features when it came to tool setting. Now, the way I would have to set tools on my milling machine without a tool setter would be remove the tool from the spindle, insert the tool I wanted to measure, find my feeler gauges, clean a fixed spot on my vise, jog the tool down to the gauges, go to fine increments, go down till the tool grabs onto the gauges, go into the tool table and set the tool height. You would have to do this for all the tools you're going to use. Now I know you can buy one of those fancy manual tool setters with lights and sound and everything, but I wanted to have it like on the Mazak machines I'm used to, because it's much simpler and quicker. At those machines, all you had to do was go into MDI, click Set Tool, or whatever it's called in the English version, type in the tool number and click Cycle Start. Simple, isn't it? Now, all I need to get to that point is a tool setter. You can make your own, and a lot of people have, but I just wanted a simple solution. So I went with one of those Chinese tool setters, because they look nice. Next thing was to design a base for the tool setter and make some CAM programs. The programs I made were maybe not the most elegant programs, but I'm still learning my way around the Fusion CAM part. It's a lot different from Mastercam, which I primarily used, but I have to say, it's very elegant. And I'm looking forward to learning and using it more. This project became a really nice way to get to know the machine a bit more. I actually really like the controller design I made, which is something I worried about a bit. After machining, I finished the radius on the belt sander. Blasphemous. I just didn't really feel like spending a lot of time 3D machining the curves just on a stand essentially. I'm sorry I don't have footage or pictures of the last operation, but there weren't really anything interesting about it. And ta-da! The tool setter is mounted. Now, you might ask why I placed it seemingly in the middle of the table, but it's actually placed right at the end of the X travel, and just a bit past the Y home position. I just wanted it as far away as I could get it, and this was it. Now, on to writing the tool setting routine. I'm so excited! So hey guys, I thought it would be easier to just show the code in action, instead of sitting by the computer and talking about it. So here you can see the setup. We have our tool, our holder with our tool, and our nice tool setter. Now, the way I wanted to have my tool set was basically to have the tool length be the same as the actual tool length from the top of the spindle, instead of just having it be an arbitrary number between here and the end stop, so that you can actually kind of roughly set the gauge length before you set the tool. So let me just show you how it works now. First, let's change to a different tool. Let's go to tool 4. Change the tool. Prompts me to change the tool. This is tool 4. There we go. So now we can say okay. You can see it changes to the diameter and tool. So now we can go into auto mode. Right now it's just loaded up as a program. So when you click start, jogs down to about 200 millimeters, and then it jogs down slowly until it hits the tool setter. And after that, you get a message. Now, I can't really get this to work at the moment. I'm probably just using the wrong message type, but it's supposed to just spit out the tool number in here. So tool number 4, length set. And if we go into manual, go into our tool library, we can now see the tool length is 120 roughly. It is roughly 220. So when you start the program, this has to be either if it's a program you start or if it's a M code or subroutine. I'm planning to have it as a shortcut on Gmokupi. But first, we change into absolute mode, where it's after the machine coordinates. After that, we go all the way up to set home, and then we go into X Toolsetter X position. You can see the X coordinate shall be the X position. The Y position should be the Toolsetter Y position. Then, in the INI file, I have made some settings. Some that I'm not supposed to set these that often, so I'd rather have them in my INI file instead of having them in the G code. So you can see we have the X position. It's actually, I have placed it exactly at the end of travel in the X position, so I can't really get it further out. And 5 millimeters, if I remember, yes, in the Y position. So there. Then I have a set safe height, so around here or something, where I can safely put in long tools and then go down probe. Then you have skip height, which is the distance from the top of the tool spindle and down to the tool setter tip. Now I can actually get down and touch it with the tool. So what I did was took one of my parallels, the big ones, placed it like this, and went down and probed the spindle and just retracted the length of the block. Then here you have find speed, which is the feed speed from the safe height down, and when it touches, goes up and then switches to the set speed. Essentially, it's just the slowly down till it touches, just to be more accurate. Anyway, back at the code, we jog to the probe position. We then wait just half a second, just something for fun really. Jog down to the set safe height. Again, wait a second. Switch to incremental mode, and then turn off feed override. That's basically just so I can't play with the feed, go down slower and whatever. So it's just stuck at 100% feed of the value I gave it, of course. And then this code, which I got recommended from the forums, it jogs down until it touches the sensor. And if it doesn't touch the sensor within that distance, it throws an error. When it touches, skips on to the next code, where I just jog 4 millimeters up a bit, still in incremental mode, and then jogs down again, a little past, with the set speed, which was 50 millimeters, excuse me. It then switches to absolute mode to get the position of where it is currently. And with that distance, it saves it in G30. G30 is kind of like G28. It's a set position where you can find the values in a couple of macros. But in my case, I just kind of needed to give me the absolute distance from the 0 point and down to the tool setter with the tool length. And then use that to calculate the tool measure length, which is equal to the set value in this macro minus the skip height, which was the distance from the spindle nose to the tool setter, which gives me a positive value. We then call a G10 L1 G10 save to tool table tool. This macro 5400 is the active tool in spindle, so it is basically that number. Oh, damn it. Shut up! Shut up. It is the active tool in the spindle. We can see P, what tool, is the active tool. Set is the set height of that tool. And that should be the value given of this calculation. So tool length measure. You can see I actually wrote it in the comment, just in Danish. So reads variable 5400 to see the active tool, then saves value from, well, that's incorrect. That was the set skip height from that code, but that's not used anymore. It's now that value, as you can see, where? Here. So after it saves the tool, it switches back into incremental mode, lifts itself 10 millimeters above the part, turns on feed override again, so I can use the override, and then switches back to absolute and goes home and set. And then post a message saying tool number, active tool, length set. Currently, it's just displaying this equal hashtag 5400, which is not the point. It's supposed to say tool number 4 length set or something like that. Anyway, and then it ends the program. So, can't really take all the honor from this code, but that's the beauty of the forums. If you ask, you shall receive, most of the time. I was especially kind of stuck with this code. The how to get a positive tool number, like the positive value from here to here, because I could quite easily get just a random number from when touching the Toolsetter and then save it directly into the tool. But that also turned out to be not that easy, because the skip height is working off the active offset. Well, let's just say I measure all my tools and then set a G54. Let's see here, mill something, oh no, I break a tool, and then go to measure again using the skip height, whatever, the skip set height. It would then calculate the length of the G54, which would completely ruin, well, it would crash, essentially. So, I had to get a absolute length, and then I would like a fixed length from this, like the Masec machines, and couldn't figure that out quite easily. So asked in the forums, and then got the help I needed. So thank you for that. So that's basically the story of how to set tools on the new mill. Well, the new mill, the old mill. As you can see, I still have a lot of work to do. I actually think the next thing would be to play with the magazine. The magazine part, it's actually fairly easy to work with. I can activate basically all the functions. Go clockwise and counterclockwise, extend, extract. You can see I can also unclamp and clamp the tool. I can see all the states. I can see the sensor states. But currently, when I give a M19, spindle orient command, it's kind of just oscillating in place, which is probably just an encoder issue. Probably because I've had the motor removed and then reinserted and didn't line it up correctly. As you know, it has to be in a very certain spot. It can't be like this, can't be like this. It has to be like this, so it aligns up with the drive dogs of the magazine. I actually believe it can't be like this either with this drive dog. It has to be like this. So that's the next thing to figure out, as well as just run the machine some more. But anyway, thank you guys for watching and coming along. And I'll see you guys next video.